Greetings of the world, everyone. Welcome to STEMGo, saving time, energy, and money. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Doyle. Thanks for popping in. I'll see you soon. We are talking today about saving time, energy, money, and business, or being efficient and effective in your business. So we have a special guest today. As you know, these shows are about having a special guest. And what we're interested in is them sharing some of their know-how of how they are efficient or effective in their business to be productive. So my guest today is, I'm going to bring you into the show. I just need to set my camera just okay. So my guest today is James Schramko. Come on in. How are you?
Good, thanks, Karen. How are you?
I'm good. So tell us where you are today.
I'm in Sydney today at my home, and got a little part of the house where I produce things, do my coaching calls, and make audios and videos.
Awesome. So you have a business, Superfastbusiness.
Mm-hmm.
You also are an author of a book.
Yes.
Called Work Less, Make More. So tell us about what the inspiration for you was behind working less and making more.
Well, 10 years ago, I had a job, and it was a good job, but it wasn't my passion. It was more of a means to an end. It was a way to pay the bills and run a family. But hopping into a suit in the morning and putting on my tie and driving off to work and being under all sorts of pressure, building someone else's business at a huge risk as well, having just a single source of income, I didn't feel secure or comfortable or satisfied. And I started to get a feeling from some of the books that I was reading about business that I was short selling myself. And I didn't want to be doing that until I'm 65 years old.
Sure.
So that I can drive around Australia in a camper van. If that script didn't suit me, so I wanted to change the way that works, and I wanted to basically enjoy my life more. I just wanted to pursue my passions and interests, and I think most people want to make more money, and most people want to work less, so they could probably easily relate to what my motivations might have been.
Sure. Awesome. Everybody wants to work less and make more, right?
I think most people, yeah, for sure. I mean, some people don't mind working a lot. There are some celebrated workaholics doing the circuit who wear it like a badge of honor. But I do think that if that makes them happy, then that's great. But it doesn't make me happy. I think you can become very unhealthy and unhappy if you work too much. And I think some people start doing it because they have to do it, but they might forget to stop doing it when they reach a point in life where it's optional. And I'm saying, well, from a very early stage in your business, you could, even if you have a job, if you know some of the ways to do this, then it's a choice for you to not have to be a workaholic if you don't want to be. You can put a limit on how much you work, because you're physically capped anyway. You only have a couple of 100 hours a month that you can work. And if you extend it for too long, you literally will shorten your life.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, like you said, some people do thrive on it. I love business. I do work 7 days a week, not all day, every day, but I do love what I do. And I think that's a part of it. It's being in doing something that you don't see as work. You don't feel it's work. But if it feels like work, then obviously you want to work less.
Well, the truth is that some of the things that make good money can be quite boring. And the other fact is, when people talk about working, they're generally extremely unproductive. Most employees will be lucky to put in a couple of hours of decent work a day in their 8-hour shift, particularly if they're in any kind of office work, which I've heard described as an interruption factory. So, I think you can actually do a surprising amount of stuff in a short amount of time if you're very focused. Parkinson's law guides us in that work expands to fill the time available. So if we compress the time available, we get a lot done, like the night before a project's due.
Yes, absolutely. If you focus your time and say, "Look, I've got this amount of time, this is my deadline." And that's why a lot of people leave it right to the last minute, don't they, for their deadline, to
Deadlines are
actually
a
get things
fantastic
done.
way to get things done. It's like you tend to get a lot done just before you go away on a trip. So I tell some people, simulate a travel. Put the line in the diary where they have to leave for the airport and see how much they get done the night before. It's amazing. If you can actually do that on a regular basis as a routine, which is what I do, I stack my work week to Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And by doing that, by only having 3 days available for appointments or for calls with students, then that's when they happen, and they don't happen outside that. So
Yeah,
they just get done, and they get done in a highly effective way.
yeah, that makes sense. Ring fencing that time and having that time only when you do that thing. Yeah, for
Yes.
sure.
And it takes a lot of discipline to do that, because it's easy to creep into another day. And if you don't manage your capacity well, then you'll end up just using every scrap of available energy. And it's particularly with entrepreneurs, they tend to find things to keep them busy. Even if they delegate something, they'll quickly take on a new project because they often get stimulated by exciting new projects. But
Yes.
so
Oh,
I've provided a
yes.
way to score how effective they're being by introducing effective hourly rate as a measurement to decide if a project is actually valuable or not to them.
Yeah, that's so true, James. That really is. So the counterintuitive approach that you talk about in your book, is that part of it? Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, it's definitely recognizing that you can't do everything and that only a few things actually matter, that there is actually abundant time available. Do you know the average American watches 6 hours of video a day? So
Wow.
when people say they're busy, they're not really. It just means they don't have a sense of what the priorities are.
Mm.
And I've seen it all. I've got kids. I've had a mortgage. I've worked 2 jobs. I understand you can be in
Yeah.
pressure, but there is an alternative. So the things that I offer in the book, things like building a team so that you don't have to do everything yourself,
Mm.
getting rid of projects that are a waste of time, having the right business model so you can get paid more for the amount of time that you do work in your business, and setting up routines so that you can put hard deadlines and boundaries around. I think you said ring fencing. Same thing. It's about being on or off, and not
Mm.
always constantly being on where you'll get drained. And even something as basic and fundamental as getting enough sleep can be
Mm.
that's like the ultimate performance enhancing advantage you could have. If you can sleep properly every night, you'll outperform anyone around you.
Super duper tips. So what do you do on the other days that you have off? What do you spend your time doing when you're not working?
Just stuff, like yesterday I spray painted a surfboard. I surf every day, so that's something I do spend at least
Awesome.
an hour or two a day doing.
Yeah.
I watch a movie on a Monday when there's no one else in the cinema. I do my shopping during the week when there's no one at the shops.
Awesome.
I watch Netflix. I read books. I travel. I've been around
Yeah.
the world quite a few times in the last 10 years. And I still manage my forum and answer questions, but I don't take appointments. And that's the important thing. I can go to my activities. I can check in on things, but there's no requirement for me to be there at a particular time.
Sure. That sounds awesome. I love the idea of going to the cinema on a Monday when you know everyone else is there.
I've sat there wondering how their business can survive. But I just watched a new movie that came out, and one of the few people in the entire complex. It was amazing.
Stunning. Yeah, and I think if you have got other interests, you are a surfer, and I know a lot of surfers are passionate about their surfing.
Yeah.
Um, it puts things in perspective, doesn't it? When you
Yeah, it's
can
like
do everything.
my goal isn't to work 80 hours a week. That seems like some kind of punishment. And my goal is to surf every day and enjoy life. I like being away from the technology. I like being off social media. I think social media is a modern day cancer.
Yeah.
And it's ruining people badly. It's giving them false impressions of what life's like for other people. It's so addictive that it hooks them in, and they're spending too much time there. They're not having real conversations. You only have to walk down the street or go to a cafe, and you'll see people be glued to a device.
Yes.
They've lost the art of being in the moment or talking to other people. It's really quite sad.
It is sad. It's relentless, isn't it? If you're on social media,
you'll get burnt out and overwhelmed, and always someone doing better than you. It can be very traumatic for people to be involved, especially if they're mentally a little bit weak. Social media is going to sink those hooks in hardcore.
Yeah. Do you reckon there's an end to it? It's going to kind of burn itself out?
I actually think. I mean, I'm pretty much over Facebook now, so I think that normal people, like non-internet marketer people, I think we're talking about 4 or 5 years from now where it will fade a bit. I think it'll become worn out. People will get over it and start disconnecting a bit.
Yes, there are all sorts of things out there. I know for sure when I get a bit on the computer, I really need to get out there and see the world. I need to see.
Well, I do that every day. I'm,
yes,
barefoot down into the water. No technology. The first advice I give in the first chapter of my book is to spend less time on Facebook. That would immediately free up probably 10 or more hours a week for most people. And these days, the newest version of the iPhone tracks how long you're spending on your phone. It can tell you where your time is spent. And I think people would be shocked at how much time they're wasting on non-important things. And absolutely should turn off all alerts, because those things, that's what gets your dopamine triggered. It's when that alert's fired, the little ding or the ping, it pulls you back in. You'll never get anything done. So most people are consuming and not creating.
Absolutely. Well, these are some great tips for getting yourself out of your business. Having created it, doing less of it and doing more of the kind of things that you love to do, the kind of things that actually bring joy to your life.
Yes, but it has to fund your lifestyle. So there's certainly things you have to do in your business to make that work, because it won't be delivered onto your lap on autopilot. You need to set things in place properly.
Systematize is what you said, isn't it? Create some systems for yourself so you're not there all the time.
I think for me, one of the most powerful elements is team. It's good to have people doing all the tasks that a typical small business owner wastes a lot of time on, like if they're tinkering around with their website, or if they're sending out their emails, or doing their own bookkeeping, or writing or transcribing or publishing or editing any of their own media, then they're wasting valuable time that could be done doing something else.
Good words of advice. Thanks, James, for joining us today. Where can people get hold of you? Where can they get hold of your... Well, I've got a link to the book. I'm going to put that in the show notes. So what's the best way to get hold of you if people want to talk to you?
Superfastbusiness.com is a great resource. It's going to point people to whatever is appropriate.
Yeah, sure. All righty. Well, you have a good day. Have you been surfing yet?
I'm about to.
Have a great surf.
Thank you.
Thanks, James. Thanks for being on the show.
My pleasure.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Wow, what an awesome show, eh? Some great tips. James obviously not so fond of Facebook, social media, and I think that's for good reason. I think it has become pretty relentless these days. And yes, good advice. Turn off the notifications. They don't keep coming through. You'll get addicted if you're not careful. Yeah. So you've been watching STEMGo. My name is Karen Bartle, and if you want more STEMGo, save time, energy and money tips, come over to the Facebook page. If I've been stumbling a bit on this show, it's because I've somehow been getting 2 echoes in my earphones, which is really, really strange. So I do apologise for that. But I'll be definitely back, actually, very, very soon with Doyle Bulow. So see you then.